The story of Khalid Abdallah and Stephen Kapos is shocking, I think. In a democratic society, the right to protest is fundamental. It's the means by which ordinary people voice dissent, advocate for change, and hold those in power accountable. Now, I personally don't think that marches work in the 21st century, but I don't approve of them being suppressed. Recent events in the United Kingdom indicate an alarming trend, this quiet but persistent erosion of this right to protest under the guise of public order enforcement. The summoning of British actor Khalid Abdallah and the Holocaust survivor Stephen Kapos for police interviews after their participation in a pro-Palestinian demonstration is simply the latest in a series of worrying developments. Khalid Abdallah, a British-Egyptian actor known for his roles in The Crown and The Kite Runner, brilliant performance in both, has been an outspoken critic of Israel's actions in Gaza. Why not? In January, he attended and spoke at a Palestinian solidarity campaign, reading a poem, a protest in London condemning what he termed a genocide. And shortly thereafter, he received a letter from the Metropolitan Police summoning him for a formal interview regarding potential breaches of the Public Order Act. Even more shocking is the inclusion of Stephen Kapos, an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor, among those called for police questioning. Kapos, who fled Nazi persecution as a child, walked with flowers alongside MPs Jeremy Corbyn, John McDonnell during the demonstration. His summoning highlights the indiscriminate nature of these police actions that risk criminalising peaceful protest under the pretext of maintaining order. The police have justified their actions by citing the Public Order Act, which they claim was violated when some of the demonstrators allegedly moved beyond the designated protest area. This is not an isolated case. The expansion of protest restrictions has been escalated over the past few years, and the Public Order Act 1986, originally designed to curb violent demonstrations, has now been weaponized to suppress legitimate political expression. Recent amendments, particularly under the Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Act 2022, have further tightened restrictions on protests, and these changes give law enforcement sweeping powers to impose conditions of demonstrations, defining serious disruption broadly and penalising those who are considered to have violated ambiguous constraints. By summoning prominent activists and public figures, the Metropolitan Police are sending a clear message: dissent will be met with scrutiny, and even those who simply walk peacefully in solidarity may find themselves facing legal repercussions. This crackdown is not occurring in a vacuum. Over the past year, numerous protest movements, ranging from environmental activists to anti-monarchy demonstrators, have faced disproportionate police action. The arrests of climate activists blocking roads, the detainment of peaceful Republicans during King Charles III's coronation, and now the targeting of pro-Palestinian demonstrators all point to a systematic attempt to stifle public opposition. Furthermore, this approach appears politically motivated. The Met's increasingly strident policing of Palestine-related demonstrations contrasts starkly with their historically lax treatment of far-right protests. This inconsistency raises serious concerns about bias in law enforcement and the selective application of protest laws. The gradual erosion of protest rights in the UK sets a dangerous precedent. Oh, and by the way, people on the right will be saying that the bias is the other way round. The ability to assemble and express political views is a cornerstone of democracy. When peaceful protesters, whether actors, MPs, or Holocaust survivors, are summoned for questioning merely for participating in demonstrations, it creates a chilling effect. People who hesitate to engage in lawful activism, fearing police intimidation or legal consequences, are hesitating for good reason. The trend also threatens Britain's international standing because, as a beacon of democratic freedom, Britain is now compromising that reputation. While the UK has criticised authoritarian regimes for the suppression of protest movements, it's now undermining its own credibility by curbing civil liberties at home. And as I say, whether these are liberties to march in solidarity with Palestine or in solidarity with those who want to support Tommy Robinson, the this move to criminalizing speech, or even criminalizing thought, criminalizing what is said on social media. The right to protest must be actively defended. The right to cause offence must be actively defended, not just by activists, but by all those who value open democracy. The UK government must ensure that laws governing public assembly do not become tools of public and political oppression. The Metropolitan Police must answer serious questions about their conduct, particularly in cases where their actions appear driven by political pressure rather than genuine security concerns. And if the laws are not working, then the laws need to be redefined. We come back, as ever, to the same problem that I raise again and again, that the Home Office is out of control. The Home Office is not doing its job, and in order to deflect, it's being particularly aggressive towards us. So we can't question its role, because we'll get arrested. We can't question the indolence, the laziness of the Home Office, because we'll get arrested for even raising the question. This is madness. We can't contact the Home Office because there's actually no way to get in touch. All you can do is talk to a help centre. It's madness. It's madness. The treatment of Khalid Abdullah and Stephen Kapos is a warning sign. The treatment of Gay, I can't remember her second name, is it Gay Davy? The lady who was imprisoned for protesting in the Just Stop Oil demonstration. And she was further imprisoned because her leg was too small to fit a tracker after she merited home release. So she was back in prison again. And then because she'd spent time at home awaiting a tracker, she had to serve that time as well, back in prison. It is madness. There is madness going on. If left unchecked, the chipping away of protest rights will continue until public dissent becomes functionally impossible. The time to resist this encroachment is now, whichever side of the political divide you think you belong. The time to resist this encroachment is now. Because Britain will find itself in a democracy of name only. And that will happen very soon unless we resist this slide into the tyranny of the Home Office.